All right, good morning, everyone. Sorry about that little delay. Great to have you here. Wow, Wednesday, December 29th, 2021. The year is coming to an end. Thank you so much for listening to another Foods for Health live stream. You have Coach Nate here, ready to talk a little bit about some important tips that I think to lose weight. And again, because we're talking about optimizing our overall health, one of the major things we talked about before in the last couple of ones, important micronutrients. We've talked a little bit about healthy foods, heart health, all that different stuff. Today we want to focus just a little bit on, tips to lose weight and to keep weight off in 2022. Or even more, again, it can be to lose weight and even just as popular or important to maintain healthy weight, right? What are some tips and tricks that we can do for that? So I thought that would be an interesting discussion just because, again, another important talk that we had was that we know that there's an epidemic or an endemic of obesity going on in today's society. So, we really want to make sure that we're all trying to be our fittest self. Again, that can be through nutrition, that can be through movement. We'll be going through both, just different lifestyle changes that we can make. And I think both sort of go hand in hand nicely. And I think we should really be focusing because, as I said in some of the other live chats, this 2022, coming off 2021, everything we've been dealing with over the last 2 years, I really want to try to push and make 2022 the healthiest year, not only for myself, but for everyone here listening on the channel. And again, we want to do it as a team, do it together. That way we can have our little support system here where we're making 2022 a priority and our health a priority. And a part of that health priority has to do with our overall weight and, being at a healthy weight, because we know if we're obese or overweight or extremely obese, that's usually the breakdown that you'll see in most cases, in most studies. Can be in the States, Canada, the US, everything, sort of everywhere right now. We know that we're putting ourselves at risk for more and more chronic disease and different types of disease infections if we are dealing with that. So being at a nice healthy weight, if we do have to lose some weight, again, that's not to be judgmental. Everyone has a little bit maybe that they want to lose, especially, and the reason why we're doing it today, especially coming off the holidays and going into the new year. Miki, thank you so much for joining me this morning. You're so timely on topics we need to hear. I really appreciate that, Miki. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to have you in chat once again. So good morning, Miki. Hope you're doing well. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But I 100% agree. I think it's time. I think it's very tough. A lot of my clients, will not stress out, but, they'll worry a little bit during the holiday season, putting on a little bit of weight and everything like that. I always tell people, weight gain, don't be afraid of, a day or two or even a week. Right? Yes, you might put on a pound or two or whatever it is, but we can get back on track and we can lose that weight. It's not our normal eating patterns, and it's not our normal diet right now. The weight gain and that obesity and extreme obesity doesn't happen in a week. It's not going to be one holiday where you're going to be having that and then, dealing with those issues. It's going to be a number of months, a number of years, and it's just going to sort of creep up on you. So over the holidays, try not to stress out too much. I think what you're saying with it being timely, I agree, because we can go into this 2022. It doesn't really matter if we put on a little bit during the holiday. Now that it's done, we can get into 2022 and then start having that healthiest year that we possibly can. Because again, having the healthiest year, we need to be at a healthy weight. I've already said that if we aren't, we're putting ourselves at major risk, or at least increasing that risk for major chronic diseases down the road. Heart disease being one of them. All right, diabetes being another. The list goes on and on. Chronic inflammation, things of that nature. So let's make sure that we're going over some of these tips. Some of them will involve a little bit of fitness. A lot of them don't. All right, a lot of people will always think, and especially in my line of work and everything like that, we definitely have to talk about it. But there's a few points that I've written down, and again, this is kind of coming from my perspective, really I see maybe one or two at most that have to deal with fitness. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think fitness is helpful. I think it's one of the best things that you can do. And by fitness, I just mean movement. Getting that 150 minutes of movement every single week. I think it's imperative for our overall health. And I think it matches up nicely with losing weight. So if we're talking about tips to lose weight, I think working out and getting that 150 minutes of movement, let's be honest, if I was saying it's not important, one, I'm just going against pretty much every study that's coming out on exercise, and two, it's just not something I believe. I believe that we can use working out, movement to lose weight, to get into a calorie deficit, and also for health reasons in general. All right. Yes, we're talking about losing weight, but it's to be healthy in general. Well, thank you very much, Linda. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. Good talk after the holidays. I 100% agree. It's the same thing with me. Been eating a little bit off my diet, nothing too crazy. Been getting workouts in every single day, but it's tough. It's tough if you're having the family dinners, you're meeting with people. Like I said, food has been being put out there. You're not gonna turn it down. Of course not. It's the holidays. But I think coming off these holidays, now sort of a good time. Again, New Year's resolutions, whatever you want to call it, going into 2022, now is a nice time to sort of make that change, switch it around, and then we can start, if we do need to lose weight, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of the tips that I think are going to help you to lose weight going into this new year and throughout the year. Christine, good morning to you. Great to have you in chat. Thank you so much, guys, for saying good morning. I know that the weight loss streams are always some of the toughest ones for people to come into, especially during the holidays. I mean, the last thing people sometimes want to hear, all right, even my clients and things like that, or even discuss, is weight loss during the holidays, or weight loss, at a time where they might be putting on a little bit of weight or their diet's not the best. So I know it's a tough topic, but like you guys are saying, after the holidays, I think it's a very, very important one. And just going into 2022, because like I said, as a team, let's make this the best year that we can. Being a healthy weight is imperative for that. So let's get into some of the tips here, guys. I think the most important tip, we know that there's a couple ones that we know that we need to do. We know we need to be eating healthy, and we've had tons of discussions and topics on healthy carbohydrates, healthy fats, good lean protein sources, or protein sources in general, depending on what diet you're on. But I think the main thing for losing weight throughout the entire year and maintaining that weight loss for the entire of 2022, right, for the entire year, I think the most important word is consistency. All right, and a lot of people will underestimate being consistent, because like I said, it's almost the opposite way. In order to put on the weight, you have to be consistent, but consistently being in a calorie surplus, consistently having a diet that might be a little bit devoid of certain foods, whole foods and things like that. Maybe it's higher in calorie-rich foods, so foods that are high in calories, low in micronutrients. We want to switch that around. We want consistency, eating nice whole foods, eating foods that are lower in calories but high in micronutrients, because if you're eating a healthy diet, then we know that we're going to be having a better chance to lose weight. So consistency for the whole entire year is super important. We can't just have consistency. Being consistent just means eating your healthy diet day in and day out, getting your exercise week by week. That's what consistency means. And it's being something that you can maintain for the entire year. If we can't maintain it for the entire year, guys, we might be good for 3 months, might even be good for 4 months. But after that, all we're going to be doing is taking steps back. All right, so one of the important tips often overlooked is consistency. My clients that had the biggest change, the biggest transformations, that not only we're talking about weight loss, yes. So the biggest transformations for weight loss, so lost over 80 pounds and some lost over 60 pounds. The people who had the best transformations the best tip that I kind of had for them, and one of the best things that worked for them was just being consistent all year. Literally did not miss one workout. They're working out with me 2 to 3 times a week. Didn't miss once. So consistent. Diet had to be consistent. You're not going to drop 80 pounds in a year, right? By having a diet that's yo-yoing back and forth, being in a calorie surplus versus a calorie deficit, or even at a maintenance, because you're not going to lose weight at that. So consistency throughout the entire year. All right, let me catch up on a couple messages here. Thank you so much, guys. I had a stroke in June. Post-stroke fatigue. Yes, absolutely, Linda. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing much better. I put on weight as I was so tired to move. Yes, Linda, absolutely. And then sometimes things that we're not expecting like that can absolutely happen. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that like I said, that you had your stroke in June. And again, you're going to be dealing with a lot with that. And, I'm sure people can relate, but you're right. With fatigue, not being able to move so much, of course, if you're not moving as much, right, you're not going to be burning as many calories. So it's going to be harder for you, Linda, absolutely, going through that, to be in a deficit. After such a stroke, a major, health complication, the important thing is that you're healthy. All right, because getting healthy, making sure that you're in recovery stage, all right, and recovering from that. Once you can recover, all right, then you can start moving a little bit more. You can be consistent with that. Be consistent with your diet. There's one thing that I want to point out when it comes to consistency too, guys, is that the more you move, the better your diet tends to be. If you're working out and you're active, all right, the easier it is. And we see this through a number of studies, and I've seen it through working with hundreds of clients. Once people are staying on they're consistent with their working out and movement, the more consistent they are with their diet. So Linda, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling much better. Once you are, then we can get that movement back into your lifestyle again. But I hope you're feeling healthy. Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely, post-stroke fatigue, 100%. Like I said, you're dealing with that. Get healthy, and then you can get that movement going. But it does not take long, all right? And you're going to notice it over a course of a couple months with weight gain, for sure. Pamela, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming into the stream. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a good morning. Good morning, Kathleen. Thank you. Great to see so many familiar faces in here again. D, my pleasure. You're very, very welcome for the topic. Like I said, I think it's an important one going into the new year, so you're absolutely welcome. And I saw your first message here. D, let me get back to that here. This is the first time in my life I'm being consistent with the workouts. Well, congratulations. I think that's awesome. You're using the right verbiage, because like I said, consistency is the most important thing. At least one of the most important. Thankfully, I haven't gained weight during the holidays. Very good. Healthy eating is definitely something I need to do. Absolutely, D. You took the words right out of my mouth. Holidays, I tell people try not to, again, like I said, tell people try not to stress too much over the holidays. Of course, our diets are going to be all over the place. Mine has been all over the place, 100%. But we can still do things to mitigate. All right, we can still, if we know we're going to a party, we can still party, family get together, just having people over. All right, you're going to be putting food out. I've been going through that in the last couple of days. And again, it's not something that, I'm against or that I'm begrudging. I'm happy to enjoy time with friends and family. This is the time to do it. And our diets are going to be off just a little bit. But of course, we can go back and then get consistent with our diet, especially over the next week once we come out of the holidays. Healthy eating is my goal. Absolutely. I think that's imperative too. And I have that here on the list. D, I think healthy eating is definitely imperative. It goes hand in hand with weight loss. Absolutely. Your diet has to be on point, and we have to be consistent with the diet, just like with our workout. So if you guys have any questions with working out, frequency, how often you should be doing it, should you be doing cardio all the time? Should you be doing resistance training? So a little bit of resistance training can be a number of different ways. Please ask. This is literally, what I do for a living, I'm making programs almost every single day. I can help you out in a number of different ways. Again, it does not have to be dumbbells and barbells and going to a gym. You can do stuff right at home. I have clients all the way in their early 20s up until their 80s. So, definitely ask your questions. I can definitely help if you need some help with that, guys. And that's one of the goals for me in 2022, to offer those services to you guys. Like I said, I've had clients that have lost close to 100 pounds. And when we put it into perspective, 35% of their total body weight, getting down to a healthy weight. So, we know what works. I think I'm very, very confident with my programs. If you have questions, please use me as someone that can help you in that sense. And I really hope you guys can get some good value out of that. So let's keep going on with our topic here. Like I said, Kathleen, great to see you in chat. Good morning to you, Pamela. Thank you so much, guys. But I think consistency is probably one of the most important things. I've just seen it too much. I've seen it with myself over the years of working out and eating healthy. We have to be consistent. Imagine if we were having holidays, like holiday season, every month. It'd be very tough for us to lose weight over the course of 2022 just because we're not consistent with a diet. And being consistent, all right, means picking a diet that works for you. I always say that, guys. If you don't have a diet that works for you, you're not going to be consistent. Your consistency is going to go out the window. You have to do the same thing with movement. If you're not enjoying, let's say, going for a hike, we have to switch it up. If you're not enjoying riding a recumbent bike, let's say, for instance, we need to switch it up. We need to find something that you enjoy and that you can keep doing. Of course, at first you might not enjoy it, but you might learn to kind of like it as you go on. So being consistent with nutrition and our movement, those are some of the most important things that we can do to lose weight in 2022. Because again, if we're not consistent, we're just taking steps back. If you're not getting, your workouts in, if we're not eating our proper diet, where we're in a deficit, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second, why we need to be in a deficit of calories, we're not going to be losing weight. Thank you. Moving a bit more now than initially. Great, Linda. That's great to hear. Do you have any specific post-stroke advice? I think everything that you're doing, Linda, is great. Take your time. Make sure that you're healthy. All right. Make sure your diet's on point. Do the things that you can control. All right. Don't rush. All right. Do the things that you can control, like having a healthy diet, getting good sleep. Very underestimated. I like the preventative stuff with that. So taking your time, making sure that you're healthy, not rushing anything. All right. Trying to decrease stress. Again, making sure our diet is on point. And then the most important thing, make sure that you communicate with your health practitioner. All right, especially when it comes to medical advice and everything like that. Just because I don't have your medical history, I can't see you face to face or work with you, in the same room. So I don't know the specifics exactly where you are physically, even mentally after something like that. Very, very tough. I know how tough that can be. So I think first and foremost, please speak with your medical practitioner. Make sure that you're getting good medical advice. If you need to see if like for physio or anything like that, that's where they're going to be sending you off. That's their job. All right. But control the things that you can control. All right. So what I mean by that is get good sleep. Don't rush. Take your time. Be healthy. Make sure your diet's on point. And then, like you said, slowly move more and more. All right, a bit more initially. You can always build, but you're already building the habit, Linda, which is very nice. You're building the habit of movement, even coming off what you just did. So I think that's great. All right, but most important, have to speak with your medical practitioner. They know the specifics to exactly what you went through, which I unfortunately do not. So it's very hard for me to give very kind of specific post-stroke advice. But I think for everyone, I think the best thing that you can do is just, control the things that you can. Have a nice, healthy diet, whole foods, a little bit of movement initially, but you can't rush. And then that's where your doctors are going to come in, and they're going to give you those specifics. My job is once you get the green light and you're good to go, then we sort of work together. I hope that helps answer your question a little bit. Again, it's hard for me to diagnose over like a chat just because I don't know your history. I don't know your medical history. Unfortunately, Linda, I don't even know your height and weight. So, it's very tough for me to say for post-stroke advice, being specific with it. I think that's the best answer that I can give. It'd be very irresponsible, I think, for me to tell you to do A, B, C, D if I don't know any of those things. But I think, like you said, initially start moving, keeping it slow, not rushing, making sure you're getting good sleep, making sure that you're getting good macronutrients and micronutrients into your diet, and being consistent with that. That's the things that we can control. I hope that helps answer your question, Linda, but please speak with your medical practitioners. Christine, I need to do better with variety, in what I eat, and I need to add some rate resistance exercise. I remember you said start with the food journal. Absolutely. Mindful eating, Christine, you nailed it on the head. And that's another thing. You can be consistent with mindful eating, consistent with journaling your diet. Now, for people who are listening to this, the reason why I like consistency through journaling your food is because then you know what foods are working for you, what foods aren't, what you're enjoying, what you're not maybe enjoying. But the other important thing is you can start tailoring your diet to weight loss. So Christine brings up a point, and this is all going back to consistency as well. Journaling your food is one of the hardest things to get people to do and be consistent with. I'll just be honest. And it's hard for me. I mean, I'm not working with kids. I'm not like a school teacher, so I put it out there, journal your food so that you know what you're eating, and then it's up to the clients to journal. All right, I see them maybe 2 to 3 times a week. You could text a little bit back and forth if they have questions, but all of that other time, all right, they're on their own. All right, so being consistent with journaling food, that way you know if you're not losing weight, you can look back into the journal. You can see, okay, maybe I need to cut this, and this out, but this is where I come in. All right, if you're not losing weight, we got to get you into a deficit. All right, calorie deficit. Remember, a deficit is to lose weight. Maintenance is to maintain, of course. And then a calorie surplus is what makes you actually gain weight. So we got to look at the journal, and then they can bring the journal into me. I can say, okay, let's say we didn't lose weight for the last 2 weeks, because you got to give it some time. All right, maybe we need to cut this out. Maybe we need to cut back on this. Maybe you were having too many late night snacking nights, maybe chips or whatever it was. Very, very common, guys. Maybe we need to instead of doing that 4 times a week, let's try to cut it back to 2. Things like that. But exactly what you said, Christine. You can start with the food journal. Know what you're eating, be mindful of that, and be consistent with that. Very tough at first, all right? It can be a little bit tough. But the important thing is the more and more you do, the more consistent you are with it, the easier it becomes. But variety is important as well, Christine, because if you don't have variety, then you're not going to be happy with the diet. And if you're not happy with it, right, and you think you're eating the same things over again and you're feeling a little bit more restrictive or restricted, then, it's hard to stay on that diet. Absolutely. Variety is key as well to losing weight. I think so as well. Especially if you're not going on stage or you're not getting paid to be on a magazine. Right? Have some variety. Enjoy the foods that you're eating. It'll help you to keep that consistency. Linda, you're very welcome. My pleasure. Like I said, I hope that helps. The medical people, unfortunately, aren't really interested. Well, that's sad to hear, Linda. I think, we got to get them on your side. Those are the people who are going to help the most. Hopefully you can find people who are interested. It's their job. At the end of the day, it's their job, right? So we need to have people who are motivated and who are interested. And that's the thing I take with my clients is, their goals are my goals. If they want to lose weight, all right, I take that on as my goal as well. All right. I'm very, very I really try to maintain that, and that's something kind of easier for me. When it's time for weigh-ins or going overall health, when I hear that they're feeling better, moving better, that makes me just as happy probably as it does for them, because that's my job, and I know that I'm doing a good job as well with my programming, and it's working for them. That's the most important thing. It's a results-based sort of industry, but again, need to have people who are on your side and who are interested. Absolutely. Because if they're not, all right, then you're not going to be getting the help that you need. So I'm sorry to hear that. But so hopefully you can get some people on your side. Sometimes you get the squeaky wheel, whatever the metaphor, I can't remember exactly, but the squeaky wheel gets be the squeaky wheel sometimes, Linda. Nee, good to have you in here. Thank you so much. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining me on a Wednesday morning here in our holiday season. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. My workouts consist of cardio and focus on abs and glutes, an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week. Okay, that's interesting, D. I think that's great. Your frequency is very, very good. So let's just go over that. My workouts consist of cardio. Okay, so that's good. 5 days a week if you're getting a cardio in. That depends on how much cardio, so how long, your duration. And then the focus on abs and glutes, an hour and a half a day. Hopefully, D, all I would say for that's great. Abs and glutes, that's huge right now. All right, a lot of my clients, that's what they want to focus on. It's sort of what's in. The only thing I would point out to you is with your resistance training, see if you can get full body in there. Of course, you can focus on the abs and the glutes and everything like that. But if you're working on, let's say abs, core, and things like that, that's going to help you for whole body exercises. If you want to work on glutes, adding things in like, squats, and it doesn't have to be weighted. It can be body weight squats. It can be back squats, front squats, goblet squats, box squats, a whole bunch of different variations. But if you're doing lunging exercises and squats and things like that, not only are you working glutes, you're working your entire lower body and your core by doing that. So full body movements, you can focus on that still, and I think that's great. You're doing absolutely everything that you want to do. I mean, an hour and a half a day, that's a lot of working out, let's be honest. But if you're doing resistance training and cardio, then of course you're going to be up there in an hour and a half. My workouts right now, because I'm doing 30 minutes of cardio, are close to that hour and a half, about an hour of weights and then 30 minutes of cardio. But focusing on abs and glutes, that's awesome. See if you can just turn that focus into whole body. Then you're going to be making great changes, and you're not going to be creating imbalances. Imbalances can eventually, or at least will put you at risk of injury. All right, it's people who will work back but not chest or not shoulders. They're getting stronger in certain areas but weakening in other areas. Again, so you're getting hypertrophy in some areas, atrophy maybe in some areas. All right, again, it can lead to imbalances, something that we don't want, put you at risk for potential injuries and things like that down the road. Sonia, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you coming in. Great member of the channel. Thank you so much, Sonia. Like I said, great having you in here. Nice familiar face. So thank you so much, Sonia. Appreciate having you in here. Rupal, good morning to you. Again, all these familiar faces coming in here. Thank you so much. Good health to everyone. Thank you, Rupal. Good health to you as well. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. It's great to have you guys in here. I really appreciate you. D, I'll just go to yours and then fat to be fit. Gabby. Okay, so great, Gabby. Thank you so much for the question. I'll get right to it. 1 second here. D, is it okay to do cardio 5 times a week? Cardio 45 minutes, abs and glutes 30 to 45 minutes. What I would say, D, is cardio 5 times a week for 45 minutes. Nothing wrong with that if it's not too intense. I mean, 45 minutes, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. All right, if you've been keeping that frequency up for over the course of a couple months, then there's nothing wrong with 45 minutes of cardio, especially if it's like moderate cardio. If we're ranking it out of 4, if you're at like a 2, at a pace where you can go 30 minutes to an hour, nothing wrong with 45 minutes, increasing heart health, decreasing calories. So you're getting into a calorie deficit by burning those calories for 45 minutes. I don't think that would be too much. I'm doing 6 minutes or 6 times a week right now. Abs and glutes for 30 to 45 minutes. How many times a week? I would say you would only really need to hit those at most, D. And to anyone else listening, abs and glutes, if you're doing abs and glutes, like let's say 5 times a week, now I would say that would probably be too much. I would treat each muscle group the same. Abs are the same. So your core is the same as any other muscle group. 2 times a week, maybe 3. All right, glutes, you could be doing 2 because if you're hitting leg exercises, you're going to be working glutes 100%. And we can get back a little bit more into that, D, here. But no, yeah, 45 minutes, absolutely, it's okay, 100%, especially if it's not too intense and you're able to maintain it and you're not feeling worn out after the workout. All right, Gabby, let me get to your question here. Me being sedentary and 400-pound female, the 2020 to 2025 dietary guidelines suggest that I eat 1,800 calories a day. This sounds way too low for weight loss. What do you suggest? Well, that's a great question. 1,800 calories at your weight. So you're 400 pounds. 1,800 calories is what I have. Some of my, let's see, 1,800 calories. Let me just start off by saying that's awfully low for someone your weight. Let's be honest. That's quite a deficit, especially if you're working out, Gabby, and you're being more active. I think being active, and it can be, low intensity. All right, you don't have to get out for walks. If you can just start moving, all right, in very simple movements, again, and it doesn't have to be for a very long duration of time. Start off with 10 to 15 minutes even. If you're doing that, I would not go high intensity to start. I think that would just be the wrong move. All right, we got to take it slow in this case. 1,800 calories is very low for your weight. Let's be honest. I'm not sure who suggests that. Maybe they're suggesting that for someone at a lower weight, but you can lose weight, Gabby, eating a little bit more calories than 1,800. I mean, I could do the math right now. It's hard for me off the top of my head to figure out your basal metabolic rate. And again, it depends if you're sedentary. Like you said, you're being sedentary now, so you're not burning as many calories. Still, 1,800 is fairly low. It might be a little bit tough for you because here's the thing, guys. You don't want to start out too low because, with Gabby being 400 pounds, all right, I would try to just increase the not being so sedentary part, starting slow, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes of just some sort of movement, all right, some sort of movement. It can be anything, and these are the programs that I create for people. Starting off slow, all right, getting a little bit of movement in there, all right, we need some heart health benefits, we need to burn some extra calories, things like that. With 1,800 calories, think about it, guys. We're 400 pounds. Where do you go from there, Gabby? I mean, eventually, what, are you going to go to 1,500? Are you going to go to 1,200 calories, 1,000? We don't want to be that low. You're going to be so restricted, you'll never maintain that. Even I'm thinking that at 1,800 calories, you probably aren't too happy on that diet, and it's probably not something that you're going to be able to be consistent with because it's just going to be fairly low. It's like going from one extreme to the other. You did not gain the weight to get to 400 pounds by eating 1,800 calories. All right, I could estimate and ballpark it, like I said, based on your basal metabolic rate. But here's my suggestion. All right, find a calorie, don't start off with 1,800 calories. All right, try to find a calorie. And like I said, it's hard for me exactly to figure out your basal metabolic rate, so it's hard for me to give a number exactly of how many calories. But I know at 400 pounds, 1,800 calories is a huge deficit for yourself, especially if you're adding in that movement. All right, don't start off too low because you're only going to be going lower and you're going to be restricted. Try to find one that you're happy with and that you can maintain. And then also try to figure out the number of calories where you're not only happy and something that you can maintain, but you're still hitting your goal of weight loss. Even at 400 pounds, it does not matter to me. I still think that you should be shooting for 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss a week. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Keep that in mind, guys. Healthy weight loss is for everyone. It doesn't matter. Now, with Gabby, you'll probably find if you're being a little bit less sedentary, getting some movement in, all right, even being a little bit lower in those calories, being in a deficit, let's agree, it is low, all right? It's very low, especially if you're starting to move, all right? Maybe increasing those calories, getting some movement in. That would be my suggestion. And then talk to your medical practitioner, because at 400 pounds, you want to make sure that you're speaking with your medical practitioner. Just again, because I don't know if there's any heart health. I don't know if we're dealing with blood pressure or anything like that. Before you start any movement, talk with your medical practitioner. That's the important part. Okay, because you're going from sedentary at 400 pounds, all right, making huge calorie changes, which are fairly low there. Again, speak with your medical practitioner. But I can be in agreement with you. 1,800 calories is quite low. I mean, I don't go that low in my diet if I'm trying to lose weight. I'll just be honest. Is it okay okay, so we answered that deep. Awesome. Angela, thank you so much. And continue to ask your questions, Gabby. Yep, lean on me here, guys. All right, this is what like I said, do for a living. These are the questions that we want to be asking for today. Angela, thank you so much for joining the chat today. Good morning, everyone from Atlanta. Great city of Atlanta. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Angela. Thank you so much. A great member of the channel. I appreciate you, Angela, and it's great having you in here. Great having you in for this discussion. So thank you, Angela, and good morning to you. Can you give an easy, obese-friendly, full-body workout I can do? Well, I definitely could. Off the top of my head, it might be a little bit tough, but I think if you're, obese-friendly, all right, one thing that, the first thing I would say, all right, is make sure you're not doing, all right, high-impact exercises. You don't want to be doing anything that's super high-impact, like on the legs, on the feet, on the joints. If you're doing that, it's going to be very tough for you to maintain, all right? Obese-friendly full-body workout, I would do unweighted, all right? Just movement, lateral movements, all right? Like, you can do it on the floor. It does not matter, all right? So full-body workout, all right? You can use resistance bands, all right? Resistance bands, doing certain exercises with resistance bands and things of that nature. Again, it does not have to be dumbbells and barbells. All right, I think the important thing is just getting a little bit of movement, just going lateral movement and then reaching up above your head, touching the ground, reaching above, doing movements that you can complete, all right, that aren't going to be high impact for your body. Again, we would need to speak specifically, Gabby, because I don't know, individuals have different limitations in the movements that they can do. All right, everyone's different when it comes to their body. You might have, let's say, a sore hip or sore knees or things like that, or sore lower back, very common. All right, so it can change from person to person, but I think maybe the thing that I would say the most, again, before you start any exercise, speak with your medical practitioner. Anyone, if you're dealing with obese, overweight, or you're just starting into your workout, I would speak with your medical practitioner, but something that's not high impact, all right, and something that you can maintain again, full body, all right, even if we don't start with full body and we just start with sort of movements, it can be more aerobic type exercises, all right, and even if we can get out for some walks, I think that's great, Gabby, but I would need to speak with you, one-on-one to find out your because what I always do is I'll do a consultation where I put people through movement screenings, and then that way you can find out people's limitations and things of that nature. So I'm going to put my my business email in chat. Again, like I said, for anyone who needs to lose weight, one of the things that I want to do this year is really start adding services to help people with that. My face has been revealed, so now I'm more than happy to do that. Again, I wasn't big on that without doing the face reveal. If you need to see my face, the title of the stream, and my face will be on more and more. But now that it's out there, all right, I have no problem offering these services to you. So that's my business email. We can talk about some services and things like that, or even just suggest, some ways to get started. But again, this is my job. I want to start moving that to online as well and helping people for 2022 to lose weight. But you have to have a consultation before suggesting anything, just because you need to know limitations. Are you dealing with sore knees? I have individuals with, who are coming off knee dislocations, who are, were in car accidents and things like that. You have to have an idea of how their body's moving. Well, thank you for that. I'll decrease the strength training to every other day. Yes, I think that's fine, D, as long as you're hitting full body. 3 full body workouts a week. And again, this is where the programming comes in. 3 full body exercises a week. And Susan, good morning to you. Sorry, Susan, I missed your message there. Thank you, Susan, for coming in. Always great to see you, Susan. Thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it, as always. And no problem, D. My pleasure. I'll decrease the strength training to every other day. I think if you're getting at least 3 full bodies, again, it goes back to the full bodies, and this is where the programming comes in. This is where I can really help. All right. But you can do 3. You can even do 4, just depending on the program. I think just decreasing, all right, my comment for decreasing was don't just focus on abs and glutes 5 times a week. All right, then you're just overdoing it on that particular body part. Treat every muscle group the same. Give 48 hours of rest. All right, that's like your rule of thumb. Give 48 hours of rest for the muscles that you've been working on. So let's say you did let's say you did a leg workout. Give yourself 48 hours or more to recover. All right, allow your body to heal, because you go into the recovery stage. That's when you actually grow, all right, and put on a little bit of muscle. All right, give yourself that 48 hours. If you're doing that, then you're starting off right. But 5 times a week, if you're doing glutes, all right, or core, you're not giving yourself enough time to rest. So I hope that helps. Tammy, and keep asking your questions, guys. This is great. I love the engagement. It's just making this stream fly by. Thank you for the thumbs up as well. Geez, we're at 45 minutes. Thank you, guys. Tammy, like I said, good morning to you. Thank you, Tammy. Another very familiar face. I appreciate the support, Tammy. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you so much. Okay, Gabby, I'm just reading your question here. Is it a myth that eating below your BMR is not suggested for weight loss? BMR? It's always basal metabolic rate. Okay. Sorry, just never heard it pronounced as BMR, which is funny. I've heard BMI so much. All right. Is it a myth that eating below your BMR is not suggested for weight loss? Well, Gabby, that's a very interesting question. All right, a lot of people will do that, and that's why a lot of people are so low in calories. That's maybe why it's being suggested to you for 1,800. But remember, your basal metabolic rate does not take into account the calories that you're burning throughout the day. Your basal metabolic rate, guys, is how many calories your body burns by being alive. You could be lying in bed all day and not move, and that's your basal metabolic rate. All right, so can it be a myth? Well, yes, if you are being active and you're not sedentary and you're burning calories throughout the day. Because let's say your basal metabolic rate is, let's just say 1,500, but you're burning calories at 2,500. So you're burning, an extra 1,000 calories a day, which adding up, because don't forget, if you're active and you have an active job, you're on your feet all day, you're moving, let's say you're working out a couple times a week, you're going to be, your basal metabolic rate might be at 1,500, but you're burning enough calories where you could be eating in a deficit from 2,500. Now, what a lot of people will do is they'll only look at their basal metabolic rate and then use that as what they should be eating at to lose weight, where you really have to take into account of all the calories that you're burning throughout the day. If you're eating at your basal metabolic rate, you're going to be very restricted, because if your basal metabolic rate is 1,500, and then if you want to lose 1 pound a week, you have to go down to 1,000 calories, which I would just never recommend because it's so low. It's hard to get your micronutrients in there. You start at that 2,500 number and you drop down from there. You can lose 1 pound a week going to 2,000 calories. By getting more and more exercise, and this is why I'm saying living a non-sedentary life, having an active lifestyle, getting some workouts in is very, very helpful, because it can help raise that number a little bit higher. So you don't start at your basal metabolic rate. You have to take into consideration all of the calories that you're burning throughout the day. If I was eating at my basal metabolic rate, I probably would not be very happy, because like I said, 6 times a week I'm doing at least probably around an hour and a half of training every single day. My basal metabolic rate's not giving me a good number to lose weight at. So it's not a myth that you're eating below your BMR, all right? Is a myth that eating below your BMR is not suggested for weight loss. I would say that it's not. You're going to lose weight definitely doing that. Are you going to be able to maintain the diet and then keep the weight off? That's the question. That's when it becomes really, really tough, because you're eating well below. You're in such a huge deficit. It's not taking into account the calories you're burning throughout the day. So your calories are just going to be very, very low. I hope that makes sense, and hope that helps answer your question, Gabby. And for anyone else out there, crossing the line, great to have you in here. Good morning from Florida. Lots of great Florida listeners. Like I said, been to Florida myself. Listening while walking with your 4-legged friend named Cody. That's great, Crossy. I know that you listen as you go for your walk, so you're getting the nutrition discussion in, and you're getting your cardio in, burning calories. That's awesome. Getting your morning workouts in. Very, very good for you. Awesome. Great having you in here, Crossing, as always. Anja, thank you, Anja. Again, appreciate you. Good morning, Justin. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate having you in here. Bindu, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year. I weigh 13 and half a stone. I'm trying to put that in. I think in, putting that over into pounds, I'm trying to think of what that is. I think it's 9 pounds per stone, or 13. Sorry, I just can't remember off the top of my head. The highest you've been, rebounder, Tammy, yep. The highest I've been. So there you go, Linda. So that's okay. We all have times where we're at the highest that we've been, but we can make the change. Again, it can be through a little bit of movement like you're starting to do. Or it can be through eating through a deficit, but still making sure that we get our micronutrients in. Even if we're at the highest we've ever been, that does not mean, right, that we've taken a huge step back. I mean, there's all points probably in everyone's life, and mine included, where we've been the highest that we've been, all right, and we want to make the change. And then, so what's the proper way to make the change? It's being consistent throughout this entire year. It's taking the consistency of a little bit of movement, and then a little bit, because don't forget, not only are you going to lose weight, there's so many other health benefits. I just read a study. I'm trying to remember his name, Dr. David Attia. I really wish I could remember it off the top of my head. Great doctor. Apologize to him for not being able to remember the name. I think it's Attia. It's like Attetia, I believe. Great doctor, great study. One of the best things you can do for your overall health, maybe the best thing you can do for your overall health, is getting workouts in, is being active, because you get so many great benefits from it. Not only the weight loss, but heart health benefits. You're going to decrease your risk for diabetes, other chronic diseases, reduce inflammation in the body, all these great things that come from a little bit of movement. Torn between listening to such excellent advice, all of this, and going for a bit of a walk. Well, there you go, Linda. Awesome. So that's great. If it's motivating you to get up and go for a little bit of a walk, again, just be careful, all right, because I know what you've gone through in the past, but your body, getting up and going for a walk, excellent. Getting that workout in. I always like morning workouts, guys, I'll be honest. Sometimes when we do our 7 a.m. streams, I'll start my workouts I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I'll be working out by 5 a.m. Love working out in the morning. I think it's a great way to boost energy as long as we're not overdoing it or overtraining. What are your thoughts on consuming Splenda every day and my overall gut health? Well, with Splenda, I would always choose maybe stevia or something a little bit more natural. I'll be honest, I have Splenda from time to time. Again, sometimes I think you got to pick your battles, Gabby. If you're starting out at 400 pounds, we want to maybe think about things like your how many calories you're eating, being less sedentary, because you had brought up that you're living a sedentary lifestyle. Splenda and overall gut health, it's probably going to be pretty minimal right now. So try not to stress over too much about the little things right now, because right now that would be one of the smaller things maybe on your radar. I haven't read too much on Splenda and overall gut health, but I know it might probably not be the best just because, with Splenda, we've seen the studies. It just depends how much Splenda you're eating as well. I think if you want to increase your overall gut health, high probiotic foods, probiotic supplement, that's going to help with your overall gut health. Same thing with dietary fiber. That way you can increase good gut flora and good gut bacteria. What do you suggest that I do to kickstart my 2022 weight loss journey and to be successful with it? Okay, this can start with anyone. 1, get good sleep, Gabby. That's the most important thing. All right, if we're chronically tired, guys, all right, we already know that 1, cortisol levels are going to be higher. All right, so your stress hormone, high cortisol in the body is going to be decreasing your chances of losing weight and increasing your chance of gaining weight. So the first thing we need is sleep. Nutrition and everything else, working out, starts with sleep. So need to be getting your 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. That's probably one of the most important things. I would also say make sure you're drinking enough water. It starts simple, guys. Honestly, if you're starting your weight loss journey, you have to cover the little things. Right? We don't just start in by going 3 to 4 workouts a week. Start with the little things. I also think you need to increase the amount of vegetables that you're eating. So we start with that. Get enough sleep. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. All right. The recommended is 3 to 6 liters per day. Depending where you're at, all right, you don't go for the home runs. Increase little by little, but making sure you're getting good water intake. That's only going to help with your weight loss journey. All right. Adding vegetables literally to almost every single meal, making sure you're getting in those 3 to 6, all right, servings of vegetables per day. All right, it's just super important. Now from there, what I would say is if you want anyone who's starting a weight loss journey, you have to find a diet that works for you. All right, and by diet, I just mean what you're eating on a day-to-day basis. Have some variety in it. Have something that you're happy with, and have something that you can maintain for the entire year, Gabby. And for anyone else, something that you can maintain for the entire year. Also, a workout that works for you. All right, something that you can maintain. Something with fairly good frequency. All right, we don't want to do it just one time a week. Something that you could hopefully do 3 to 4 times a week, starting with maybe 1, but building up to 3. But finding out how many calories you can eat and still lose weight. Healthy weight loss, 1 to 2 pounds a week. Okay, so to kickstart, sleep, water, vegetables. That's what we need. Build from there. All right, a little bit of movement. All right, and then you can start building into your diet. All right, and making sure you're not too low in calories. So a diet that works for you, a diet that you're happy with. It could be anything. Does not matter. Keto, intermittent fasting, whatever it is. I think you can lose weight on any diet as long as you're being consistent with it. Sweet Cakes, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. It's always great to have the familiar faces in here. So Sweet Cakes, thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it, as always. Thank you for your stroke understanding. It's been really missing in my life. Yes, absolutely. I know how detrimental it can be. 100%. It's tough dealing with this all on your own, and tiredness has been immense. Absolutely. Though now I'm staying up really late as even. Yes. Absolutely. Sleeping doesn't seem to help with fatigue. In your special case, Linda, yeah, it could, just because you went through such a, with a stroke and everything like that, all right, it might take a little bit more time, but just think, if you're not getting the sleep, that's the time that your body's recovering. Again, not only physically, but for the mind as well. So we need to make sure that we're getting in that sleep, all right? Even right now, if it's not helping with fatigue, it's paying dividends for you, Linda. We need to make sure that we're sleeping. I do like coconut sugar. I haven't used coconut sugar, to be honest. Want to try it for baking. Very nice. Give it a try. Just use it in moderation. All these natural sweeteners like honey, raw honey, agave, coconut sugar, and things like that will spike blood glucose levels a little bit. But, I'd say the natural is best, Christine. Give it a try. Just keep it in moderation, like you said. For baking, very nice. It gets so bored. Yeah, I understand, Linda. 100%. Trust me. So, Gabby, I hope that answered some of your questions. The myths out there, how you can start, what's the best way to start. And I think the best way to start too is, guys, don't push it off until like next week, or I'll start January 1st. If you can, start today or tomorrow. That's the best way to do it. Don't push it off, because the more and more you push it off, the less likely you are to start in general. We just see that in a number of different things. But one more thing I will say to have a successful weight loss journey: don't put too much on your plate at one time. Start small. Remember, you have the whole year. If you make 1% changes, and this is on my list, all right, the most important tips to lose weight in 2022. Don't go for the home runs, guys. Don't think you have to do everything right starting today or tomorrow. All right, take it step by step. That's why I say, for Gabby or anyone else trying to lose weight, focus on your sleep. Focus on water intake. Focus on your vegetable intake so you're getting good micronutrients. All right, all of that great stuff. All right, make sure you're getting your bases covered. If you're doing 1% changes, all right, if you're doing 1% changes every single day, like I've said this a number of times in my streams, you're going to be 37. You're going to have a 37 times improvement. So you'll be 37 times better than you were at the beginning of the year. Not 37%, 37 times. So imagine if you're just consistently making these little changes every day, almost changes that you don't even realize or not even realize are happening. All right, but if you're making these little changes and you're building on them every single day, by the end of the year, all right, by the end of 2022, you're putting yourself at a great chance of having, amazing weight loss and amazing health benefits. So start small, and you can always build. All right. And the reason why I tell people, and sometimes they'll think it's, way too short or way too slow. All right. 1 to 2 pounds a week. Now, at the beginning, you might have a little bit more. All right. If you're a little bit higher in weight, of course, you might have like a 5-pound drop at the very beginning. So you're going to have that. But let's just say you don't even have that 5-pound drop. But let's say you're losing 2 pounds a week, which is healthy. All right. And it's also non-restrictive and something that you can probably maintain. If you're losing 2 pounds a week for 52 weeks, you're going to lose over 100 pounds in a year. And you're going to look really, really good, especially if you're combining that through cardio and through resistance training. Because a lot of that, and if your diet's very good as well, and that's where all the programming and the tips where I come in, right? You want to make sure not only are you putting on a little bit of muscle, all right, because it's fine if we're putting on a little bit of muscle. It doesn't matter if it's females, males, all right? You're not bulking up as a female. That's the one thing that, I don't want to bulk up. Well, you're not going to bulk up, but you might put on, like, let's say 4 or 5 pounds of muscle through the year, all right? It's not even half a pound a month, almost something that you can't even tell. But of course, if you're doing resistance training, you're going to put a little bit on, which is good because you're going to tone up. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you're burning throughout the day. It's increasing your metabolism. It's a lot of benefits. We want a little bit of muscle. All right. We want a little bit of strength training. But if you're doing that, you're maximizing your weight loss as well. All right. And it's a great weight loss tip because a lot of that 104 pounds that you lost through the whole year is going to be body fat. So how tremendous is that? That's why everyone thinks, well, 2 pounds is very, very slow. Well, you do that over a year and you chip away, over 100 pounds lost, which is an incredible feat. All right, if you're losing 100 pounds, boom, congratulations to you. You're doing something that not a lot of people in this world have done. All right, and literally can't do. Very, very tough. All right, but you're losing over 100 pounds per week, or not per week, per year. And you're making incredible body composition changes, putting on a little bit of muscle, toning, getting that look that we want, and losing body fat. All right. You're doing it in a healthy way as well. And it's probably something you're going to maintain. And it's not going to be, you're not going to get that yo-yo effect. If you're trying to lose 10 pounds every single week, the deficit that you have to be in is 30,000, almost 35,000 calories. It is 35,000 calories. All right, so if you're losing 10 pounds a week, you have to be in a deficit of 35,000 calories every single week. How are we going to maintain that? That's such a huge deficit. It's not healthy, for one, because you're probably going to be eating very low calories. Your macronutrients are going to be off. Your micronutrients are definitely going to be off and probably hurting a little bit. And you're going to be living in the gym. It's just not something that we can maintain. 2-pound weight loss per week is 7,000 calories, much more manageable, something that we can maintain throughout the entire year. Right now, do you have to be in a deficit the entire year? No. You might want to give yourself a little bit of a rest, maybe a week off, maybe a week or two where you're at maintenance. Right? But again, you're going to be losing a lot of weight, just 2 pounds, nice and healthy. All right, and you're not restricting yourself so much. My pleasure, Linda. Again, my pleasure. Thank you for such kind and comprehensive and wise knowledge. My pleasure. Again, love talking about this. You guys are asking amazing questions. Coconut sugar is low in glycemic. Very nice. So you're not spiking your blood sugar. That's great. Not as much, at least. Like I said, I haven't really looked too much into coconut sugar. I don't use a lot of sweeteners. I'll be honest. Like, I drink my coffee black. I don't put any in oatmeal. There's not a lot of times where I'm using sweetener. Like, people will put it in their tea. I don't have it at all. So, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so coconut sugar, a little bit low glycemic. I'll have to look more into that. Thanks, Christine. You're very welcome, Gabby. Thank you so much. And Gabby, like I said, if you need help, all right, there's our online services that are being provided. And I'm not just saying this. Here's one of the best things that you can do. All right. If you really want to make a change, all right, and the people who are making the biggest changes, all right, are people who are allowing individuals who can help them into their life to make the change. So what I mean by that is, have a personal trainer if you can. All right, have someone who can help you and guide you through the training and through nutrition. All right, because like you're asking, Gabby, there's a lot of information out there. You need someone who can work with you. All right, and Linda, like you said, sometimes people aren't interested. You need someone who has your back. It can hold you accountable. All right, because accountability is another huge thing when it comes to consistency. Who can hold you accountable to hitting your goals. All right, it's not like drill sergeant where that's wouldn't be my approach. It's never my approach, but it's someone who's a support system for you. All right, you need that support. So if you need that in your life, all right, that's something you might need to think about as well. All right, having a support system, having a little bit more accountability. It's only going to help, all right? It's going to pay dividends down the road. If you have someone in your life who can help you lose that 100 pounds in a year, I mean, you're doing a tremendous job. You're investing in your health. You're investing in the longevity of your body. I think it's a tremendous, if you look at the people who are making the biggest changes in their life, sometimes, all right, it's people who are getting a little bit of guidance, all right, and have someone who knows what they're talking about and can help you through that process. I think it's very important, especially when it comes to all the nutrition stuff that's out there, all the workout stuff that's out there. I mean, with your questions, Gabby, I mean, how do we start? What's the frequency? What's good programming? What's a good full body workout? Those are all things, that we need to have answered, all right? Because if not, it's not something that we're going to maintain, all right? And a lot of the times, let's be honest, guys, we start out strong in a weight loss journey, all right? But 2 to 3 weeks, a month maybe, you see people come off or fall off a little bit from that weight loss journey very, very quickly, and we start back at step 1. Linda, you're very awesome. Thank you so much, being so kind, especially the simple advice that is so kind. Oh, you're very welcome, Linda. Thank you so much for the compliments. I really appreciate it. Again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Like I said, I want this to kind of be like a team effort in 2022. We've had Sonia and we've had Angela in here, both Fit team members of the channel. All right, they hit that join button, became Fit team members of the channel. So big shout out to Sonia. Always love giving shout out to my Fit team members, Angela and Sonia. Thank you so much. If you're still listening, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, joining, becoming a member, supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. So hitting that join button, becoming a Fit team member. The other thing, people donating, giving the super chats. Appreciate all you guys. You guys know who you are. I know you're in stream right now listening. So thank you to everyone who is so generous. And again, just everyone who's thumbing up the video, being in chat, asking your questions. If you're finding advice, if coming off the holidays, I know, but hitting the join button and becoming a member, a Team Fit member, Fit team member, all right, or super chat function, that's the way to do it, because I don't want to create a Patreon and hold people out of these discussions. All right, with Linda, like you said, I would not be able to give the advice that I can, holding people back and blocking people out from making it a Patreon goal or something like that to hold live streams. If you can, joining as a member or through the super chat function, greatly appreciated. Like I said, we're doing 5 hours of live streams every single week and videos going up almost every single day. Hope you guys enjoyed the sauerkraut video. But thank you for all the great comments and questions. Again, this is my bread and butter. And if you need help, one of the services that are going to be on the channel is weight loss goals, working with a coach. All right, having programs created for you. There's programs that I'm working on, all right, that are going to be starting, all right, starting strength, starting workouts, doesn't matter what it is, but just getting started. Also moderate to advanced type workouts as well. I know we're all at different stages, so I want to make sure we have everyone covered. Okay, let's get back to our questions. Thank you guys, and thank you, big shout out again to our Fit team members. Really appreciate you. Should I eat only when hungry or eat scheduled meals for weight loss? All right, that's a great question. I think if you know exactly how many calories you're eating, I don't think there's anything wrong with eating scheduled meals. I mean, every 3 hours or whatever it is. There's just so many diets out there. Again, it depends on what type of diet you're eating as well, or you're following as well. I mean, intermittent fasting, you would have your eating window, right? And do you have to do intermittent fasting to lose weight? Not necessarily. Yes, there are benefits to intermittent fasting. I have clients who are on intermittent fasting, so I know quite a bit on IF. And I think it can be very beneficial for some people. But do I think you have to have intermittent fasting? No, I don't. I've seen tons of clients lose weight, and that's what we're specifically talking about right now. We're not talking totally into the health benefits of intermittent fasting, because it can change a little bit. You can still get health benefits from eating a healthy, well-balanced diet, any diet, really. So should I eat only when hungry or eat scheduled meals? You have to make sure when you're hungry, guys, you'd have to probably be meal prepping at that time as well, because when you're hungry, that's your greatest chance or biggest chance, or usually when it happens, that you're grabbing foods that aren't going to help with weight loss. But there's nothing wrong with scheduled meals. It's worked for tons of different people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. All right, scheduling your meals, all right, that way you can not only schedule them but plan them and make sure that you're hitting your calorie goals, all right, for the day, making sure you're getting consistent energy, making sure you're hitting your macronutrients. I don't think it's a bad idea to plan or to schedule them, all right? So having them scheduled, all right, You can do, I would schedule them for weight loss. All right, just my own personal opinion. All right, have them scheduled. In intermittent fasting, you'd absolutely have to have them scheduled. Same thing with keto, I'm usually. But intermittent fasting, it'd have to be scheduled because you can only eat at a certain time. You have an eating window. All right, but for weight loss, you can do both. Again, keep it simple. The only thing I would say is if you're only eating when you're hungry, that's when you're going to have a chance to maybe grab something that we might want to stay away from, or grab something fast. Planning and scheduling your meals, always helpful when it comes to weight loss. You know exactly what you're eating, you know at what time, right? And it's kind of that mindful eating that Christine brought up with knowing what you're eating when it comes to like food journaling and stuff like that. So scheduling, you know exactly what's going into your body, you know exactly at what time. But again, both can be used for weight loss. At the end of the day, it comes down to, we have to respect the hormonal response of the foods that we're eating. All right, so I'm simplifying it right now. We need to make sure that we're aware of that. But at the end of the day, if we're eating over our maintenance level, we're going to gain weight. If we're eating under and we're in a deficit, we're going to be losing. You can get into a deficit by eating less or by burning a few extra calories. Both are the same, just as long as we're in that deficit. Lester, great to see you in here. Thank you so much. Another familiar face. Season's greetings, everybody. I feel a bit behind due to this time of the year. Absolutely. Now also that I celebrated my birthday on Christmas. Well, happy belated birthday, Lester. So there's a lot going on. Absolutely there is for you. The holidays, birthday, 100%. Very busy. Well, I appreciate you coming in, Lester, being as busy as you are. Thank you so much. And for watching the videos. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lester. Miki, love the sauerkraut video. Good. Having had it in utero, being Polish, German. Well, there you go. Exactly. In German, absolutely. Going to have it in a lot of German foods. I think sauerkraut is great. Sauerkraut's an amazing food. Sometimes maybe even being considered a superfood just based on the amount of nutrition, based on the probiotics that are in it, very low in calories. Those fermented foods are really tough to get sometimes for people. All right. And also, like I said, the probiotics and prebiotics. All right. And again, that can help with weight loss. All right. So keep asking your questions, guys. I appreciate it. I put my business email in there. All right. The other thing here. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, we talked about consistency. Consistency is super important. All right. If we're not consistent, and especially throughout the entire year, we're not going to be getting the results that we want. All right, what is the hormonal aspect? Well, the hormonal aspect, one being insulin, right? Insulin is a hormone. If you're eating, let's say, refined carbohydrates, even fructose to some extent, all right, you're increasing blood glucose levels, you're going to be increasing insulin. All right, and if you're increasing insulin, one, you're putting yourself at risk. If you're consistently doing it, one, you're putting yourself at risk for insulin sensitivity. All right, but it's also going to be stored usually as fat. You're burning through it more quickly. You're not giving yourself more time to burn it off. All right, so the more and more you're spiking that insulin, all right, the better chance you are, or increasing the risk of storing those calories as fat. So that's your hormonal response to certain foods. That's why keto is very, very popular. That's why intermittent fasting is becoming more and more popular. You're not going to be spiking your blood glucose levels as much on keto, as it's probably going to be very low because you're not having those carbohydrates. But again, you can have complex carbohydrates, whole grains, and things like that. Low glycemic index foods, so low GI foods, where you're not going to be increasing as much blood glucose. One other thing that I like is healthy fats and protein with some fiber. That's going to help slow down the absorption of those carbohydrates. So it's going to slow down, all right, or at least decrease the blood glucose rise from certain foods. Again, I would keep it some of my favorite carbohydrates, of course, complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, oatmeal, barley, things like that. If you're keeping it to good fibrous, healthy carbohydrates, whole grains, things of that nature. You pair it up with some fiber, which it's going to have already, and some protein. You're going to be slowing down the digestion quite a bit. So I think that's a good tip. That's why I like something like eggs in the morning. You're not starting off with a spike in blood glucose, especially with cortisol being the highest in the morning. So those are some of the tips. That's kind of a little bit more science-based and things like that. And it's sometimes it can complicate things and overwhelm people a little bit. I think the important thing is you just eat healthy. Eat healthy, eat whole foods, things with like one ingredient. I mean, it's like broccoli. Broccoli is one ingredient. If you're having canned foods, frozen foods, fast foods, all right, you're not having, there's more than one ingredient in those foods. So try to stick with one ingredient foods, like your broccoli, your spinach, your sweet potato. It's just coming straight from the ground, things like that. Chicken, all right, if you eat protein, fish, things of that nature. I think you're doing yourself a huge service, all right, and a disservice if you're not sticking to those foods. So that's a good way to lose weight as well. They're also usually highest in nutrition. All right, so moderate in carbs, especially your cruciferous vegetables, low in calories, high in nutrients. That's one of the best things you want to do, and one of the best things for weight loss. Also, another thing for weight loss, important tip, is make sure that you're having fiber in your diet. All right, and by eating healthy, it's going to be a nice way of just naturally increasing fiber. So again, let's talk a little bit about the importance here about being in a calorie deficit. All right, to lose weight, we need to know, all right, how many calories we should be taking in, and how much would be too many to gain weight. All right, that's one of the things that throw people off the most, and why they kind of become, super obsessed with the scale. All right, they're weighing themselves in every day. They don't really know, and they don't really have a complete understanding of just how many calories they should be eating per day. So they're almost guessing. They're eating a certain amount and then hoping that's enough, or at least low enough for them to lose weight. All right, so every time they get on the scale, maybe we can relate to this. It's almost like we're holding our breath, hoping that we're eating not enough, or at least eating healthy enough where we weren't gaining weight. But the most important thing probably is to know, one, our basal metabolic rate. So Gabby brought up BMR. All right, so what your BMR is. All right, and then that way planning your diet accordingly. That way you're in a deficit. That way you don't have to really worry too much about getting on the scale. You're not, fixated on just a number. If you know what your deficit is, and you can stick to, a 500 calorie deficit in your diet, and then add some, movement, right, and some exercise to it, you're going to be in a deficit, because we know in order to lose weight and to consistently do it throughout 2022, we want to be in that calorie deficit. Now, again, do you need to do it throughout all of 2022? I would suggest, and to my clients, I'd suggest, don't do it for the whole year. Take yourself out of the deficit a little bit. Maybe eat at maintenance levels. Have we would call it deload week. There's nothing wrong with that. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It can be very tough to be in, and probably not recommended to be in a deficit for an entire year. It's very tough. All right, and it's tough on the body. All right, it can slow down recovery. All right, again, you're just eating less and less for a whole year. That's very, very tough. All right, but we need to make sure we know what a deficit is for us. One way we can figure that out is by counting calories. All right, again, that's going to be tough for people. A lot of people don't like counting calories. Is that the only way to do it? Absolutely not. I have a ton of different strategies that I use with my clients. The other one is the food journaling. So we know if we're not losing weight, okay, let's cut this out. Let's cut this out. All right, very, very easy. It's picture perfect right there. They do a good job of journaling what they eat. Okay, we know we can take this out and take this out. We can just drop 250 calories or 500 calories, whatever it is, out of the diet. I usually like around 250 to start. Nothing too intense. All right, so by journaling, you can do that. Now, the other way, all right, again, another easy way, there's always the mirror test. There's always, how is our clothes fitting? But again, if you're not seeing that scale move, you're not in a deficit. Okay, at least over time, all right, because you might be putting on a little bit of muscle, you might be holding a little bit of water, things of that nature. But if you're going 2 to 3 weeks and you're not seeing that scale move, we know we might need to drop calories just a little bit to get into that deficit, or to increase movement again to get into that deficit. So, being in a deficit for 2022, that's one of the things that we should probably focus on, a calorie deficit. Again, because if you're eating in a surplus, it's that months and months and months of eating in a surplus of calories, eating too much, right, is what's going to be putting on weight. It doesn't happen overnight. Just like weight loss won't happen overnight, but if we can chip away being in that deficit, a healthy 1 to 2 pound weight loss per week, then you're putting yourself in a good position to be consistent throughout the entire year. But you have to know what's our deficit? What's our maintenance level of calories? And then how can I get below that? Thank you again. Thank you again, Lester. I appreciate it. Linda, thank you. I've eaten lots of sugar over these holidays. I'm amazed how much I ate. Usually try and keep it low. But yeah, absolutely. This is the sugar time. Trust me, 100%. It's the same with me too. And I don't do well with sugar. Sugar is very tough on my body, even like fructose. So like grapes, certain fruits like mangoes, pineapples even, I can't eat. It does not go well with my body. So this is, I've had a little bit more sugar, and I can tell a huge difference. Sugar, again, for a lot of people, is one of those things that's only going to be detrimental, one, to our overall health, but detrimental to our weight loss goals. Going to have to do something rather radical. The sugar has come in with a vengeance. Yes, I don't know how many calories I'm eating at all. Most people don't, Linda, with the calories they're eating. That's why I suggest journaling. All right, at least with journaling, you know what's going into your body. There's apps out there. One is called MyFitnessPal. So MyFitnessPal, all right, where you can keep track of your calories, count your calories. That's one way of doing it. Some of my clients use it, and the ones that use it have used it with good success. All right. Again, I'll give them the macronutrients that they need to be hitting. All right. So let's say it's 180. This is just off the top of my head, but 180 grams of carbs, 55 grams of fat, and 120 grams of protein. They can use MyFitnessPal and plug it in and find out their macronutrients or get as close to those macronutrients as possible. But you don't have to do that. A lot of people will look at that and think of it as homework. People don't want, all right, they're already trying to lose weight. All right, they don't want to start adding things into their daily life. It makes it easier. It's a tool. Is it necessarily? No. Journaling can be just as successful. All right. Some people I've had to have just take pictures of the foods they're eating just because, they don't want to take the time to journal. They don't want to take the time to put it into an app. And even with the MyFitnessPal, you can literally scan the label and it'll usually come up there and tell you how many calories are in it. But for some people, some strategies just don't work. You have to be flexible. Right? So journaling can help, but sometimes just taking a picture, that way I just have some sort of idea of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis, because the diet is very, very important. All right, the workouts are important and we get good workouts in, but you have to have the diet as well. And again, something rather radical. Linda, I think take it, and with anyone else, all right, coming out of these holidays, again, take it day by day. All right, we can start coming out of it now. We have New Year's coming up, but we can start coming out of it now. We're already on the 29th. Unbelievable. We're pretty much out of the holiday season, or at least for a lot of us. All right, take it day by day. All right, because you're going to, like we said, when we did our sugar stream, we know sugar has that addictive quality to it. It gives us that brain response. So, just cutting it out all 100%, if we were a little bit high for a week or two, we're not going to feel the greatest. All right. We already know that we're going to have, cravings for sugar and things of that nature. So just be careful. Try not to do anything too radical. Just cut it out day by day. Drink lots of water. Make sure you're eating healthy foods. And then that's going to give you the best chance of kind of coming off this little higher sugar intake. A lot of fiber as well. Water, fiber, all of that good stuff. Healthy foods. You'll be good to go. Is sugar totally unacceptable, or can we have a little? I would take, for this is my own opinion, if we're talking about refined, just like white sugar, I would say take it out. I don't think there's any benefit to having like refined white sugar in your diet whatsoever. For one, it's going to raise blood glucose levels a ton. It's very inflammatory, and there's no nutrition in it. So you're getting three horrible things right off the bat, just off the top of my head from it. All right, it's going to spike blood glucose levels. It's going to lead to crashes. All right, so you'll spike blood glucose levels. You're going to crash. All right, and you're going to get those hunger, those cravings. All right, and that's when we reach for foods that we might not necessarily want to, or we'll eat more. All right. So white refined sugar in general, you maybe even have to be careful with fructose. All right, glucose, fructose, all that different stuff. Refined sugar, totally unacceptable. There might be times, I know people who put a little bit in their coffee. All right, if it's like a teaspoon, I always tell people, yeah, you can do that, but you got to be aware. I would 100%. So let's say they have to have their coffee. It makes them happy. They put a little bit of sugar in there. All right, maybe just sugar, and just drink it black. If just having that little bit allows them to keep the rest of their diet going for the rest of the day, then okay, maybe you might need to have that little give and take. But I always tell them you're getting no benefit from the sugar. You're spiking your blood glucose in the morning, right? And you're creating inflammation in the body, all right? That hormonal response that we talked about. And if you're gonna do that, so just like the little teaspoon, I would pair it with a protein and a healthy fat. So we did an egg in the morning with it as well, all right, just to slow down the absorption rates. All right. But yeah, white sugar I think is one of the worst things. There's like an epidemic of sugar being consumed, and that can be in the form of refined white sugar, high fructose corn syrup, all right, a ton. All right, so I think we just got to be careful with that, guys. All right, make sure that we're not going overboard with sugar. Again, I just think that there's absolutely no benefit to having sugar in our diet whatsoever. You're very welcome. That's tough, but necessary information. Absolutely, it's very tough. Like we're in that sugar discussion that we had. Sugar is very addictive, guys. It's like caffeine. It gives the same brain response that almost like drugs would give us. All right, it lights up the same areas of the brain. All right, so you get that. You get those cravings. And the more we have, the more we want. All right. So again, very, very addictive. Very addictive sugar. Does this mean we ought to cut out our desserts from our diets? As best you can, Lester. Absolutely. As best you can. Especially when it comes to weight loss and just overall health. All right. Again, no nutritional value from sugar whatsoever. It's empty, what I call empty calories. And a lot of people call it that, but I'm always referring it to empty calories. No fiber, nothing. No antioxidants, no anti-inflammatory compounds, nothing. It's only going to create inflammation. Excuse me. Have to leave now. Thank you again for a very informative session. Oh, my pleasure, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. And again, thank you for asking your questions. I really appreciate it, guys. So again, we want to be in that calorie deficit. Do we have to be in the deficit for the entire 2022? Probably not. We just want to make sure that, again, you're staying consistent with that deficit. Maybe, every few weeks, take yourself out for a couple of days. One, it's good for the body. Other, it's good for the brain. All right, just our mindset. Consistently being in a deficit is very, very tough. All right, it's hard to maintain that type of diet. And again, that's where, someone can help you with diet advice or with working out and things of that nature. Being in a deficit could possibly hurt your energy levels for working out. And if you're working out like some of the people who mentioned in chat today, if you're working out 5 days a week, right, in a deficit, if you have certain goals in mind where you're trying to hit If you're doing resistance training or some sort of cardiovascular training, being in a calorie deficit could be detrimental to those goals. But we do know in order to lose weight, you have to be in that calorie deficit. You can do it through diet. You can do it by adding a little bit of cardio. My favorite thing is a little bit of a mix of both, all right, because you get so many health benefits from getting cardiovascular exercise and resistance training in there as well. I mean, heart health, like I said before, heart health, diabetes, insulin sensitivity being decreased. Great for our brain health, great for our mood, so many great things with working out. We don't talk about it a ton on the channel. I think it's something we might need to talk a little bit more about. I know individuals are here for nutrition, but they just go hand in hand, and there's so many benefits that come from working out. All right. And again, when I say working out, don't think gym, don't think barbells, don't think anything like that. It can be walks. It can be lower to moderate intensity workouts, things of that nature. Again, one of the services provided is for just starting out. How can we do that? And you can do it from home. That's the other thing. You don't have to go to a gym. You can just do it right from home. But that's where the good programming comes in. Something that you can maintain, while in a calorie deficit and can maintain throughout all of 2022. You're definitely a force for... Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. Going for that walk now. Thank you so much. All right, Linda. Have a great walk. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate all your questions and engagement in the chat today. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy that walk. Stay healthy and stay safe, Linda, okay? Take it nice and slow. Speak with your medical practitioner, and I appreciate the kind words. So for weight loss, again, consistency, one of the biggest things. All right, know what you're eating. You can do that by tracking calories. You can do that through food journaling. We want mindful eating throughout the entire year if we can. All right, take pictures of what you eat. All right, because I know some people have trouble with journaling or calorie counting and things of that nature. I think MyFitnessPal is very helpful because you can just scan the label, the barcodes, but know what you're eating. All right, be mindful. With that can be meal planning and meal prepping. All right, I think that's, again, we talked a little bit about that in optimizing our health chat, but if we want to lose weight, specifically, most important tips to lose weight, we have to have mindful eating. We have to know what we're eating because we want to make sure that we're getting enough water in. The little things add up. It's those 1% changes every single day. Getting enough water, getting enough vegetables, making sure, we're getting good macronutrients if we're having carbohydrates in our diet, making sure we're having healthy fats, good protein sources, things of that nature. Cover your basis with knowing what you're eating. Have that mindful eating, guys. It goes hand in hand with consistency. If we're consistent with our diet and we're consistent with our mindful eating, that's going to give you the best chance to lose weight in 2022. And not only to lose weight, but also if you're happy with your weight, maintaining, all right, and also keeping the weight off through 2022, because you might hit your goal in the middle of the year. Let's be honest, we don't all probably or maybe have to lose weight through all of 2022. We might hit our goal 3 or 4 months in, but maintaining that healthy lifestyle, maintaining those good habits is important because those are habits that you can take with you and use for the rest of your life. Once you start journaling and you have that mindful eating, over time, and this is why I think it's important, over time you're going to know what foods and meals work for your body. All right, maybe again, if you're eating carbohydrates, healthy fats, protein, fiber, over time you're going to know, all right, well, this works for me, this doesn't work for me, this is a good portion for me, this is too much. You're just going to learn that through mindful eating. It's unbelievable. Like I've said before, if I see someone on a Friday and I ask them what they ate on Tuesday, hardly ever will they be able to recall back to me if they're not having mindful eating. They don't know what they ate during the day. So again, if we don't know what we're eating, how are we going to be in a deficit? Or how are we going to make sure that we're hitting our micronutrient goals? All right. And again, both go hand in hand with weight loss. And again, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you if I wasn't writing down, all right, and I journal usually every single day. All right, and it's gotten to the point now where I pretty much will eat very similar things throughout the day. I have some pretty good variety, but it's very similar. But if I was changing up my diet and then you asked me on Friday what I had on Tuesday or Wednesday, it'd be tough for me to recall, all right? Especially if you're not having that mindful eating. So both go hand in hand, guys. All right, consistency, mindful eating, I think very important. Huge tips for losing weight in 2022. All right, the other one was being in a calorie deficit. If we're not in a calorie deficit, we won't lose weight. All right, it's as simple as that. We can be in a calorie deficit in 2 ways. Be more active. All right, so we can go from that sedentary lifestyle to no exercise or no movement to gradually increasing to that 150 minutes per week. And again, I think a nice combination of aerobic, so cardiovascular, with some resistance training. People always think, well, why do I need resistance training? Or resistance training isn't for me. I think you're going to get a lot of benefits out of the resistance training because, one, putting on a little bit of muscle, again, it's not bulking up or anything like that, but putting on a little bit of muscle, one, it's going to help with toning, getting the look that you want, but even more importantly, all right, than the aesthetic, health-wise, it's important. We lose about 1% every single year after the age of 35, but it's also going to increase your metabolism. The more muscle that we have, the more calories we're burning throughout the day. So that's why I think a nice combination of both goes hand in hand. Very, very important. Lots of water too, absolutely, RuPaul, and that's where that mindful eating or drinking in this case is very important as well. You want to make sure you're getting at least 3 liters, all right, 3 liters depending on your active lifestyle. Anywhere from 3 liters to 6 liters. 6 liters is quite high. I think anywhere 3 to 5, 3 to 4, somewhere in between there is important as well. Like I said, anything nutrition-wise, when Gabby asks, how do I start my weight loss journey? 1, sleep, 2, water, 3, vegetables. All right, you start there. Start with the little things. So water was, right up there. That's at the bottom of the pyramid. That's our biggest and most important thing. So definitely lots of water. And again, there's so many people who are chronically dehydrated right now, only drinking 1 to 2 glasses of water, if that, per day. Again, if you're not hydrated, it's very detrimental to weight loss as well, because you're going to sometimes confuse that thirst for hunger. All right, we need to also make sure that we have proper hydration levels, all right, to be healthy. And if we're living a more active lifestyle, of course, you're going to need more water. They go hand in hand. I think water is a huge good tip, like you're saying, RuPaul, for losing weight throughout 2022. All right, and it's a good goal for us. The other one, let's start talking a little bit more about fitness, all right? And fitness, walking, exercise, things like that, working out, all right? Starting to maybe think about some resistance training, some of that cardiovascular like we talked about. Again, if you need help with that, send me a message, because one of the services that we're doing on the channel now is helping people out with programs, how to live a healthier lifestyle, all right, through fitness, exercise, cardiovascular, and strength training. Okay, I know it can be sort of one of those things where some people aren't fans of the gym, but you do not have to go into a gym or do anything like that to start working out or to start, getting yourself moving. All right, you can do it right at home, and you don't even have to use dumbbells, barbells, things like that. Resistance bands. I have whole programs just based on resistance bands. I remember when the lockdown started and I didn't have a gym, all right, I was using resistance bands for my training. All right, so there's tons of options that you can use for resistance training that doesn't include a gym or, your sort of what everyone sort of thinks about when they think about a gym, these machines, all these machines, all the dumbbells and things like that, barbells, things that, we don't necessarily know how to use. It can be very daunting for people. I used to do sort of introductory things at a gym where it was just kind of starting strength for people. Even going through that, it was like 8 to 10 exercises. That very, very daunting for some people. And then the thing with that is, you might learn a little bit of how to use certain exercises, but if you don't have someone going over it with you a couple of times, you're probably not going to go back to that exercise. Let's be honest. Just seeing something one time it's still hard to figure out. I mean, sometimes you have to kind of drill it and really, really practice, just like we do with our diets. Play around with things a little bit. Sometimes things don't work for everyone. But starting to work out, get that exercise in. And again, by working out, all I mean is maybe getting a walk in. All right, getting 150 minutes of a walk in per week. All right. Adding a little bit of resistance training, I think, is important as well. I think both go hand in hand. Eileen, thank you so much for joining. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. Again, more familiar faces. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great morning so far, Eileen. Again, thank you so much for joining. Now, the other important thing is, again, 1% changes. Don't go for the home runs, guys. So we have a couple of strategies on here for losing weight. I think the biggest thing right now, all right, is just be consistent. All right, 1% change each day, being consistent. And by being consistent, I mean with movement and I mean with diet. Those are the two things that I think that we need to really focus on. Obviously, if we're wanting to lose weight, but being consistent, something that we can maintain for the whole entire year. All right, we need to be consistent, but 1% changes are going to give you the best chance of hitting your goals during 2022. All right, if we're going for those home runs, like I was saying before, if you're trying to lose 10 pounds a week and you're in a 35,000 calorie deficit, all right, every single week, how are we supposed to maintain that? It's next to impossible. No one can maintain that for a long period of time. All right, you might get some quick results, and a lot of my clients really want quick results, or constantly, be losing huge amounts. But you do that for a month, all right? You just can't hold that restrictiveness, even if it's 5 pounds a week. All right, and you lose 20 pounds in a month. Yeah, that's going to feel good for the month, but can you maintain that weight loss? A lot of the times you see yo-yoing, so up and down, all right, just because they can't maintain it. It's too restrictive, all right, or they're just in the gym too much, all right, so they're wearing themselves out. Makes it very tough to hit those goals, all right? So that's one tip I will give to you guys, all right? Don't try to do everything at once, all right? Don't go for the home runs. Small changes every single day, though, and that comes with the consistency. Thanks, Eileen. Yes, very good morning so far. Having a great discussion. We've been going for almost an hour and 45 minutes already. Hard to believe. Again, I hope you guys are getting great value. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. But yes, great morning so far, Eileen. And like I said, great to have you in chat. The other important thing, and a big tip, I think, for weight loss, guys, is the starting out process is probably the most important thing. We need to start off on the right track. That's why it's important that you're asking your questions, and it's been great. There's been huge engagement today, asking a ton of questions. Starting off is one of the most important things. All right, getting started. There's a lot of people in what we would call the, they're almost in like pre-contemplation mode right now. So they're thinking about getting started, but there's a difference between thinking about getting started and then your action phase. All right, so they're in their pre-contemplating and then contemplating. All right, where they're actually thinking, looking up, if you're going to join a gym, looking at programs, coming into nutrition chats like this. All right, but then there's a difference between that and then actually getting started. You have your program locked down. You have your diet locked down. Even if it's not 100% correct, it doesn't matter. But as long as you're trying and getting out there, I think that's an important thing to start with 2022. And I think the most important thing as well is, again, don't push it like next week I'll start. If you do that, I've seen so many people who never start. I think, one, you either have to have a hard date where it's like, all right, January 1st is your typical one, right, guys? It's January 1st, I'm setting up something where I have to be there. That's why I like the trainer. All right, and I'm not just saying that because I train people. All right, I literally believe that's, if I didn't believe that, then why would I do this? Okay. And I've just seen so many good results. And I've seen so many people have a trainer. And people don't believe me when I say this. But I could show you, because when I used to work at a gym, now I have my own business, but when I used to work at a gym, people would have to swipe in. And I would always tell them, if they weren't going to renew and they were going out on their own, I would always tell them, the hardest part for you, what I need you to do right now, say it was the last month of their training, what I need you to do right now is, if you're seeing me 2 to 3 times a week, I need you to come in by yourself 2 times. All right? Because I need you to start building that habit of coming in on your own. All right? So keep this in mind, guys, as you start your journey. All right? And as you continue your journey through 2022. All right? Have the hard date where you start. That's the first point. But build the habit, because there's so many times where I've seen they're not building the habit over the month, only coming in for their training. Once I see that, all right, that's sort of a red flag, because they would swipe in. And again, this isn't judgmental. This is like 99% of individuals, and it's just happens, all right, because they weren't working out before, and then they started working out with a trainer. That's a big difference. Now you have someone holding you accountable. You have to be there at, like, let's say 5 p.m. All right, I have to be there just like you would go to a doctor's appointment. All right, I have to go to the appointment. I'm showing up. All right, and they're also making the investment. All right, what I see all the time, all right, because I could see the swipe-ins, all right, and now talking with clients that I work with myself, once the training ends, they might come in once, maybe, but they just fall right off. They do not come back into the gym. I've seen it 99% of the times. All right, just because they lose the accountability. 95% of training, all right, is accountability and consistency. So losing that accountability, and that's why I say on this channel, there's Fit Team members on here, all right, who have signed up and hit that join button. Fit Team members, I want this to be a team effort for 2022. We need to have that support, all right, overall support. All right, I think it's so important. So don't push it off for a week or two, or this has to be perfect. Don't wait for perfect. The perfect time is just starting, all right? It can be today, just going out like Linda did, all right? Linda went out for her walk, all right? Very, very good. Did not push it off. Got motivated through our discussion, like she said, and then is now out for her walk. That's awesome, all right? I think that's the way to do it. Okay, sorry. Lainey, thank you so much for your questions. Okay, let me get to some of these. Sorry, I was a little bit on my rant there, but I just think it's so important, guys. I mean, without the accountability, it can be very tough. I'll just put it that way. I seriously have a hard time with consistency. Yes, absolutely. It was my number one on the list, Lainey. I think it's the most important, one of the most important at least. My family eats differently than I do. Yes, I eat mostly plant-based, but I'm not good at sticking to it. I feel like I can't stick to any diet or lifestyle. Okay, let's take that for instance. So, your family eats differently than you do. That's one challenge for you, but something you can overcome. All right, my family eats differently than I do. You'll have to maybe meal prep a little bit. All right, and that's what's going to make it a little bit harder for your consistency, because consistency for you is going to involve a little bit of prepping. All right, you'll have to prep probably a little bit here. All right, make sure you have meals. I know it can be tough because the family's eating one. Maybe you're cooking for them as well. It's almost like you're cooking for two different reasons, the family and for yourself. But you'll probably have to plan just a little bit more than most people. I feel like I can't stick to any diet or lifestyle. All right, the thing I would say about that is perhaps maybe you just haven't found the right diet or had done the prepping. All right, that'll work for you, because there's something out there, Lainey, that I know will work for you. A diet that makes you happy, a diet that you can, that's easy for you to maintain. Maybe some sort of intermittent fasting where you're eating at a certain window. All right, our lifestyle, I think that perhaps could be important. Trying out different things. All right. There's not just one good way of doing one thing. A lot of people think I'm not a fan of keto. Absolutely not. I'm a fan of anything that works for you. I never see results and I get discouraged. Absolutely. And that's the thing that gets a lot of people to stop. All right. A lot of people to stop because they get discouraged. They don't see the results. But don't forget, if you're looking for results, Lainey, results don't, and this is for everyone in chat, results don't only come from the scale, it comes from our overall health. Think health first and then aesthetics second. Think, what am I doing for my overall health? Am I decreasing my risk for heart disease, which we know a quarter, so 25% of the world's population is going to be dealing with some sort of complication through heart disease. The other important thing, all right, that's going up and up. In like 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a third probably. All right, we know more and more people are dealing with obesity. We know 68% or somewhere in and around there for Americans are overweight, obese, or extremely obese. It's the same in Europe. It's like 55%, maybe a little bit more than that right now. So think health first, all right, aesthetics and things like that later. That's awesome. You're restarting MyFitnessPal. That's great. You can track calories. That's going to help you with your results, getting those results you want. I go to the gym 30 minutes 5 times a week. All right, good for you. That's awesome. So that's your 150 minutes, I believe. But stopped the last couple of weeks due to weather. Okay, so the weather maybe is just a little bit harder to go to the gym. That's okay. The big thing for you then, Lainey, is getting right back on it. If it came off, if it fell off for a couple of weeks, that's okay. It happens to everybody. All right, sometimes it'll happen to me where I stop for a couple of days. But the most important thing is that you get right back on it. It doesn't matter if it was the last couple of weeks. I think MyFitnessPal will help for you. All right, getting back on it, following your macronutrients, your calories. I think that'll help so much with getting you back started. Miki with the super chat. Thank you so much, Miki. I really appreciate it. Wow, thank you so much, Miki. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks. I think I can do this. Miki, I know you can do it, okay? You can do it, all right? Especially, just take it one day at a time. My pleasure. I know you can do it. And again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Again, that join button, the super chat like Miki just did. Thank you so much, Miki. I appreciate it. And like I said, I don't think you can do it. I know you can do it. And this can be, like I said, a team effort on the channel, making this the best year, 2022. And if we need to lose weight, using it as a lifestyle. All right, using it as sort of a lifestyle motivation here on the channel. Ask your questions, guys. Programs are going to be going up. But Miki, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. I know you can do it. Big shout out to you, Miki. Thank you again. Yes, I'm trying to focus on healthy foods. Good for you, Lainey. That's exactly what you want. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. It sounds like you are. It sounds like you are, Lainey. It can be tough. All right. Again, this is why I want the support system here. A lot of the times, and it's not because people are trying to be unsupportive for you, but a lot of the time, people are doing their own thing. They're living their own life. Their health is not a priority like it is for us. All right. So for you, it might just come down a little bit to preparing, meal prepping. It was the same for me when I started out, and even now, no more so not now, because people are eating quite healthy where I am. Starting out a little bit different, but it might just take a little bit more of a meal prep. I think what you're doing is very, very nice. 30 minutes 5 times a week, that's a great frequency. 30 minutes is nice. If you're doing a nice kind of combination of resistance training and also cardiovascular, I think that puts you right where you want to be. 150 minutes, great health benefits from there. Think healthy foods like you're saying there, and then, the results will come. Rupal with the super chat. Rupal, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, guys. Rupal, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Rupal, I hope you're getting good value, just like I hope everyone's getting great value out of the chat today. But thank you very much, Rupal. I appreciate the support. Very, very appreciated. Miki, thank you again. To you as well. Like I said, guys, I know we can do it this year. 2022 is going to be huge for us, all right? Especially everything that's going on over the last couple of years. But But big shout out to Miki, big shout out to Rupal again, the super chat function supporting the channel. Rupal, thank you so much. Miki, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's been in chat as well today. But again, yes, through that super chat function, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it, guys. Yes, Laney, please do. Absolutely. And just stay consistent. Even though, you might have, the last couple of weeks, maybe we weren't, following it to a T, but I think finding something that you can stick to is the most important thing. Consistency, like you said, all right? Consistency is the biggest thing. Find something that works for you, whether it's a diet switch up. I know plant-based is big for you, and most people who are eating plant-based, it's not only a food choice, but also a moral choice as well. So if you want to stick with plant-based, by all means, that's your diet. All right, find what works for you. Find the calories in which you can. All right, for MyFitnessPal, if you're putting them into MyFitnessPal and you're not seeing changes, then we know maybe we have to drop calories just a little bit, especially if you're not changing anything with your gym schedule. 30 minutes, 5 times a week. If that's not changing, then calories will have to drop just a little bit. All right, that's how we're going to see results. Getting into that deficit and staying consistent. So you're very welcome, Laney. I hope that works out for you. It sounds like you're doing great. 5 times a week is a great frequency, so very, very well done. Rupal, you're welcome. Thank you for all your hard work. Well, my pleasure, Rupal. And Karen, well, my pleasure, Rupal. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Like I said, it's nice when you find your passion, right, Rupal? So thank you very much. I appreciate you just as much as you appreciate the hard work. So thank you very much. Like I said, thank you very much to Miki and to Rupal again, with your super chats there, guys. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for asking your great questions in chat. And, I think with 2022, the most important thing, the big thing for us is, take time, all right, because the mindset is huge, all right? And it sounds cliche, and I know you hear about mindset all the time. But like we talked about it, just like with Laney, all right, and like Laney's doing as well, focusing on overall health, on healthy foods, all right? I think if we think about our overall health, guys, that's one of the most important tips for weight loss. Don't be the person that weighs in every single day. All right, if you're weighing in every single day, you're becoming, obsessed with the number that's on the scale. If you're doing that, a lot of people think that it's a good thing to weigh in every single day because you can see changes happening. Am I doing right? Am I doing right? You have to give yourself time. Think about health. Switch the mindset up from, okay, I need to drop 2 pounds this week or 5 pounds this week, and then that's my success. Yeah, it's great to lose the 5, it's great to lose the 2, but if we're not thinking about health first, all right, dropping the 2, anyone can drop 2, all right? I could make a program for anyone where I could get you to drop 2, all right? It's not hard. Work out for an hour every single day and eat 1,200 calories. Anyone can do that, all right? Now, you lost a bunch of weight that week probably. You're probably in a huge deficit, but are you healthy? Probably not. And are you going to be able to maintain that? 100, probably 99%, probably not either. Anyone can lose weight. All right. We just want to make sure we're doing it a healthy way, in a way that we can maintain. All right. Health is first and foremost. All right. It doesn't matter. As a trainer, that's what I tell all of my clients. Yes, I know that they want results, and me as a trainer, it's my job to get them the results. But we have to think about health first, because if you aren't taking care of your health, all right, the weight loss is kind of secondary at that point. All right. If we're dealing with heart disease and diabetes and everything like that, yes, weight loss is going to help with that, but we need to make sure that we're getting certain foods into our diet also. All right. Changing the mindset, journaling, and knowing what you're eating. If you're not getting enough water and you're constantly tired, or let's say you're losing weight, but you're not getting enough sleep, and we know the detriments. We've done talks on getting enough sleep. We know the detriments of not getting enough sleep. Let's say you're losing weight, but you're not sleeping enough. You're always tired. All right, you have low energy. Your workouts are hurting. You can't get that 150 minutes per week, so you're not getting all the benefits from working out. You're taking steps back, really, because at the end of the day, if you're doing all of that type of stuff, all right, if you're dealing with all of that, are we really going to be able to maintain throughout all of 2022? Probably not. It'll be very tough. A lot of people would have trouble finding success with that. I think that would be very tough. It would be very tough for myself, I can say that. Right? If I wasn't sleeping, if I was becoming, super obsessed with, the number on the scale, and it happens so often, that obsession with I need to be this weight, I need to be this weight, all right? And if I'm not, or I need to drop this, all right? Sometimes I'll have clients that think they're letting myself down because they didn't drop 2 pounds. Well, maybe you dropped half a pound, all right, and you got 3 workouts in, and you ate healthy, all right? You took 2 nighttime snacking nights out of your week. That's huge wins, guys, all right? And again, you're not doing it for me, all right? Yes, I take the goal on because I want you to achieve your goal, but at the end of the day, it's for your health, all right, and your health alone, all right? I take care of my health. I don't expect my clients to do exactly what I'm doing, eating the way I eat, working out 6 times a week. I would never expect that. All right. Each program is tailored to each individual. It's not about letting me down or anything like that. It's making sure that you're the healthiest that you can be. And I think that's what 2022 can be. Now, the one other point that I think that we should point out, all right, in order to lose weight in 2022, we talked about switching that mindset up, all right, first thinking about health, and then the aesthetics will come, all right. One, I want you to think about the process and not the outcome. So if you have 50 pounds to lose, and you're in your action phase, because we have to be in the action phase, guys. A lot of people are contemplating right now about getting started. Maybe I'll start at this time. Maybe I'll do this. Again, this is where a trainer really helps, because they can help you get started with that. We're coming into discussions like this and asking your questions, right? Because a lot of times people not knowing what to do holds them back 100%. But I think one of the biggest things is when you're getting started, right? When you're in your action phase, right? Making sure, obviously, one, that you're consistent, all right? But starting with a program that's going to work for you, all right? And then just getting started, all right? Once you're started, all right, that's when you can build, all right? It does not have to be perfect, all right? Like I said, there's a lot of things, people who are in the contemplation stage where not knowing what to do is going to hold you back. Don't let that hold you back, guys. I've seen it so many times, all right? Or being intimidated or things of that nature. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid, to get in there and just start learning, all right? The other reason why I think maybe a trainer is good is because you want proper form. You want proper technique. You don't want to injure yourself in certain areas, all right? Or certain exercises, I should say. All right. Make sure that you're using proper form, proper technique. It's the same thing with eating. All right. It's the same thing, with your diet. You want to make sure you're eating a healthy diet. There's certain ways that we can do that. One, not dropping calories to 1,000. All right. Like I said, anyone can lose weight while eating 1,000 calories. All right. The other important thing, guys, when you're starting out, try not to add too much onto your plate at once. What do I mean by that? All right. Some people have so many goals. I'll do consultations and they'll want to lose 75 pounds. They'll want to, get ready for a marathon. They'll want to increase flexibility. They'll want to do this, this, and this. Try just to start. And that's great. Those are all goals, and we can work on all of those goals. But the more and more you add to your plate, and this has been shown in numerous studies, I think, I can remember right off the top of my head one that always sticks with me, and this is based on New Year's resolution, so it's kind of funny. It holds true for any time of the year, but it's kind of funny because we're right at New Year's time. But people who had one goal, let's say it was to lose 25 pounds, all right, and that was their goal, and they focused primarily on that, they were 76% more likely to hit that goal. People who had 2 goals of, let's say, lose 25 pounds, all right, and run a marathon. All right, so you have to do a lot of cardiovascular training in that, the nutrition, all of that stuff. All right, so having 2 goals, all right, brought it down to 60%. Now, let's say another person, all right, wanted to lose 25 pounds, increase, let's say, flexibility on this one, increase flexibility and gain strength. All right. Well, that's a lot of goals. That's 3 goals. People who had the 3 goals, and let's say even better example, someone who wanted to lose 25 pounds, all right, run half a marathon and gain strength, all right, their chances of doing any 3 of those was less than 40%. So what we can learn from that is the more and more that we add onto our plate, the less likely we are to achieve any of our goals. So I would think of your most important goal and start out with that. Because let's be honest, if you're trying to run half a marathon and prepare for that, all of the cardiovascular training you have to do, the weight loss that's going to come with it, how are you going to be focusing on strength as well? They don't go hand in hand. They're almost the complete opposite of each other. All right. You're talking about an endurance sport on one end and a strength sport on the other. All right. So 2 very, very different goals. So the point comes back to make sure that you're not putting too much on your plate, no pun intended, for weight loss. All right. Making sure that you're keeping it simple right off the bat. All right. Keep it simple and then just get started. If you can do that, you're going to find yourself having the most success. All right. Like I said, the studies speak for themselves and we can sort of relate to it, right? If we're trying to master too many things, all right, you'll be a master of nothing really at the end of the day. All right. Or you're trying to improve in a number of different areas. All right. You don't leave yourself a lot of time to actually improve in any of them. All right. It's not enough. All right. We need to make sure that we're focused and really giving ourselves the best chance to accomplish each goal individually. All right. So if weight loss, and that's our main topic for today, if weight loss is your goal, you can focus on weight loss, because let's be honest, with weight loss even, there's a lot of important parts to that. You don't need to be thinking about strength training or, training for a marathon as you're thinking about weight loss, because we know we have exercise involved in that and nutrition involved in that. That's already a lot on the plate there, guys. All right, we already know that just with weight loss, there's going to be other subtypes, all right, and other sub-individual kind of categories that we're needing to focus on as well. So I hope that makes sense for you guys in terms of, not trying to do everything all at once. Like I said, we live sort of in a society now where everyone wants it's quick. Like we even see with social media, it's super fast. We get our news super fast. We communicate with people super fast with texting and all of that stuff. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just the world we live in. But everyone sort of wants results yesterday. When it comes to losing weight in 2022, we have the whole year. Take it as a marathon and not a sprint, guys. All right, don't put too much on your plate all at once. Once you start seeing results in one area, then you kind of start mastering that and you've got that figured out. All right, so you got your weight loss, you're losing weight successfully. All right, your diet is well, you're happy with it, you're able to continue with it, everything on that nature. All right, you're not feeling restricted and you have good energy, then maybe you can start adding a little bit down the road. All right, you can always add things in. But I always see, it's just like the people who stop working out, all right, with me and lose the accountability. The people who start out with way too much at the beginning have a lot tougher time of actually maintaining and keeping that sort of regime or program going for themselves. And if they can't keep it, all right, and we're not consistent, because remember, that's probably one of our most important things for the year. If we're not consistent throughout the whole entire year, we're taking steps back on losing weight, guys. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I just want to make sure that we point that out. Thank you guys so much for such a great discussion this morning. I really enjoyed it. Big shout out to Miki. Big shout out to Rupal. Big shout out to Angela and Sonia. Thank you so much for your super chats, for joining as members. The one thing that I want to do, and again, don't be shy is not the right word, but don't be afraid of taking some action, guys. I have programs that are coming out. You can use myself as a resource, all right, to help get started with your weight loss journey. And I like to call it a journey, guys, because it kind of never ends. All right, you can get to a point, like let's say you lose the weight, but you also need to maintain it. Mental health, relieving stress, helps with weight loss, and a tough discipline. Absolutely, Damon. You're 100% right. And working out, mental health benefits which come with that, relieving stress, all right, helps with weight loss and tough discipline. Well said, Damon. Absolutely. That's why I think going into this, and thank you again, Angela. Thank you again. Appreciate you. But that's why I say, don't be afraid to reach out. We have programs here on the channel now, all right, especially because I did the face reveal, all right, how to get started. And it's different for everyone. Here's the thing. Here's why I'm not a huge fan of just making almost like a cookie cutter starting program. It's going to be different for someone that has been semi-active in the past and is just restarting, all right, maybe after like 5 years, and maybe they're in their mid-30s, all right, then someone who's a little bit later in life, who's never worked out or touched a weight. How can you create the same program for each individual? It's going to be 100% totally different. That's why sometimes I'm not a huge fan, even though I think they're beneficial, but sometimes it's not always the best for group classes and things like that, because it's not tailored to each individual. Sometimes I've had clients that have left group classes and went on to one-on-one because they could not complete exercises, or someone wasn't showing them the exercises. They were just running the class from the front of the room, and then they weren't getting any benefit from it. So don't be afraid, to reach out if you need help with something. Again, especially because it's amazing what you can do online. I have online clients right now where I'm actually putting them through home workouts. The things that you can do online are incredible. All right, not only the programming is easy, the nutrition part's easy, but you can actually do workouts face to face now. All right, actually showing you not only weightlifting but aerobic type exercises. I have a number of clients where yes, we do weight training, all right, and then we do a little bit of mix of weight training and a lot of aerobic type stuff. All right, you need a mix of everyone. Like I said, I have clients in their early 20s all the way to their 80s. You can't have one cookie cutter workout for all of those individuals. All right, you gotta tailor it to each person. So don't be afraid to reach out, guys. Those services are out here, and I'm here to help, and I want to make sure that everyone is able to make this year the best they can and that we can get healthy. The obesity epidemic is out there. We've seen it in numerous studies. I've done kind of lectures and chats on that. The numbers are just going up and up and up. And even now, so after the holidays, going into the new year, we know that it's increasing even more. So again, thank you so much for the support, guys. I appreciate it. Don't be afraid to reach out. It's incredible what you can do. Remember to work within your own 100%. Yes. Yep. Well said, Damon. Isometrics. Nice. Yep. My clients know isometrics quite well. You're 100%. Put in the work, guys. The work, if you do that, and again, like I said, the work can just be 1% changes every single day. If you're doing that, you can find success. You'll be in a 37 time better position at the end of the year if you're just making those little changes every single day. That's all you need. You don't need the home runs. You don't need 10-pound weeks or 10-pound losses each week. All right, 1 to 2 pounds, because if you're losing 2 pounds every single week, that's over 100 pounds throughout the year, and a lot of that is going to be body fat if you're doing some resistance training. So marathon, not a sprint, guys. I hope this was of good value to you guys. I mean, we went for over 2 hours and 15 minutes. Tons of information out there. I hope that was helpful for you guys. Lots of great questions. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your engagement. Thank you so much for coming into the chat. I know it can be early sometimes, but thank you so much for coming in here and supporting the channel. Again, big shout out to Miki, big shout out to Rupal, to Sonia, to Angela, the members and our super chatters in the in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys. And like I said, I appreciate everyone in the chat right now and everyone giving, your support, your thumbs up, and your viewership to the channel. I really appreciate it. Baby steps, yes, baby steps, David. Exactly. You gotta crawl sometimes before you can walk, and then before you can run. Absolutely. Start baby steps. You can grow. You can always grow. You can always add. Can I start off with 5-pound weights first? Absolutely, Angela. Here's the thing too that we can say. All right, strength training and resistance training is different for everyone. What's heavy for one person, all right, is different for another person. So 5-pound weights absolutely is fine. I mean, you can be working in a hypertrophy, so body composition type workouts, Angela. All right. You can be working in a hypertrophy. So let's say 5 pounds, all right, getting 12 reps with 5-pound weights for you, all right. Let's say that's your max. Perfect weight for you. You would start off at 5 pounds. All right, that's what I would have you starting at 5 pounds if you were, depending on your goals and depending on what you want to achieve. But 5 pounds, all right, is 100% fine. Start at what's gonna. Let's say you're working in a rep range of 8 to 12 reps. If you're able to do 5 reps with 5 pounds, that's the correct weight for you. Let's say you're able to do 16. All right. If you're able to do 16, then maybe you might want to increase the weight just a little bit. Maybe go 7.5, maybe go 10. Again, it depends. That's just kind of giving a broad view of a hypertrophy type body composition type program. But nothing wrong with starting off with whatever weight works best for you. 5 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound. Does not matter. The important thing is that you start off, Angela. Absolutely, you can start with 5-pound weights. I have a lot of clients. I have 5-pound weights, and then they put, 5-pound weights are just fine for them. Okay, then when I work my weight up slowly, yep, don't want to plateau. Exactly. You start at 5 pounds, and then you can slowly increase. All right. You can increase through reps. You can increase through weight. You can vary the like let's say if you're doing bicep curls, you can vary the velocity. So coming up faster, and then you can really focus on your eccentric. So as you lower the weight, you can slow that down. All right. So there's lots of ways of making an exercise tougher. You don't have to just add weights or reps. You can gradually work up by slowing down your eccentric, really focusing on form. But you're exactly right. All right, work your way up, all right, slowly, and then that way you're not plateauing or dealing with anything like that. So yeah, you can start low and you can always add weight. All right. You don't want to go too heavy. You don't want to risk injury or anything like that. Start low, always increase. I do that with every client. It's fun. It's fun and nice to watch their progress. All right. They start low. All right. Because you got to keep them safe at first. All right. That's the job of a trainer as well. Stay safe. And then over time, and it can happen quite quickly where their weight increases. All right. And again, sometimes it's a change in form. All right. Like I said, a 2 count on the way down. All right, a 3 count on the way down, a squeeze, having to hold weights. So a little isometric hold, like Damon said, on certain exercises. Tons of different ways. But yes, 5-pound weights, absolutely, Angela, you can start with those and then gradually work your way up. With weight, with reps, all right, with form, lots of different ways. So great question, Angela. Thank you for asking. All right, guys. So, geez, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to think. Yeah, it definitely will, Damon. 100%. You got to listen to your body. 100%. But wow, it's hard to imagine. We're already on Wednesday. Man, this week has just flown by. I have to tell you guys, this week has flown by. We're on Wednesday. It's just flying by. Our holiday season is almost coming to an end, sadly. But, it's almost time for 2022. Continue to make this the best year possible. It's my major thing that I'm trying to get across to you guys. Sounds like you're all doing a great job. Continue to ask your questions. Don't be afraid to reach out. That's a big thing, again, that I want to do on this channel for this year. Thank you again to our super chatters and to our members. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone in here. Thank you for the 33 thumbs up. And thank you for joining me. Like I said, early morning on a Wednesday. You guys are amazing. You guys are top 5%ers. Coming in on a Wednesday morning during the holidays at a 7 a.m. chat, talking about weight loss, talking about nutrition, asking questions on a number of different things. You guys are up there. You're amazing. All right. Obviously, your health is important to you. So that's why I want to give you good value, because I know you guys are right up there. You guys want it the most, and so you will get it. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate all of you. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. I will talk to you next. I might even go on before Sunday. We'll play it by ear, but I will talk to you guys soon live. We'll have another chat coming up. All right, and then we'll continue with the videos, just like we had our sauerkraut video go up yesterday. We'll continue with the daily videos going up, but I'll go live within the next day or two. All right, I have the time. I enjoy them. So, and I'll definitely give you guys a reminder before that goes up. So thank you guys, Miki, Rupal, Angela, Sonia. Love giving shout outs to all you guys, and big shout out to everyone in chat right now. Susan, thank you so much. 20 minutes a day. I'm not a gym kind of person. Yep, a lot of people aren't. It lowers my blood pressure and my overall health. Absolutely. Stay active. All right. Lots of different benefits, especially for heart health, which we know. All right. Heart disease, everything like that. Lots of different factors when it comes to heart disease, heart related issues. We know cardiovascular, we know a little bit of strength training is going to help reduce that. So keep it up, Susan. Congratulations on that. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all of you. I will talk to you guys live very, very soon. I'll make sure I give the reminder because it might be before Sunday. And again, thank you very much. Let's make 2022 the best year. I know you guys can do it. We can all do it together. Stay safe, and I will talk to you guys again, like I said, very, very shortly, very soon. All right, guys.